What's going on today, everybody? Well, it's time to get rid of these winter tires and start putting these nice summer tires back on. And with that, I went and got a new alignment, and I took a lot of the camber I had in it out. So I used to have about 2.5 to 3 degrees of camber, and I dropped it back down to about 1.25. So with that, it means the front of the tire is no longer sitting in, it's poking out more. That means I'm going to probably be rubbing on my fronts. My rears are fine. My rears are already rolled for these big fat tires. So we're gonna go ahead and roll the fronts, since I know that they were rubbing before at 2.5, and I'm a whole degree out. So that means I'm out another 1/4 inch maybe. So it's sticking out more. Gotta get rid of the fender. Not get rid of it, but we gotta roll the fender up and out of the way. Now, a roller, fairly cheap, 150 somewhere in there, and you can do it at home. All you need, not hair dryer, but a heat gun and a roller. Pretty simple. I'll go through how I do it, how it's done, and we'll get these fenders rolled. So, of course, you're gonna need to take your tire off of your hub here, because your roller will sit and actually attach to your hub. So you need a couple lug nuts, roller, and your wheel off. Now, me, because I want to, I've got a really dirty fender well, and that means that this lip right here is really dirty. So I'm gonna clean it so I don't smash a whole bunch of rocks, because I'm gonna be putting a whole bunch of pressure on here to fold this over. I'm gonna be smashing those rocks into the paint. Don't wanna do that, so we're just gonna take a second, clean that lip off, and get it ready to start rolling. So you can see kind of my problem that I'm having here is right there. I was rubbing on that tab. Now there's a couple tabs in here. Definitely double check to make sure you don't have any tabs that look like this sitting up in there, because you'll want to undo them, because they will become a problem and break. A very, very useful tip is I'm going to be working on this driver's side. I've got my chocks on my rear wheels. I've got the transmission in neutral, handbrake on because I'm doing the fronts. The backs are only affected with the handbrake. Handbrake on, so it's holding it. I've got this tire off. I'm gonna put the fender roller on. But the other super important thing is I've got this jacked up in the front, but I've got this tire on the ground. Now your front tires steer, and when you're rolling, you're gonna be going around in a circle. Well, that's going to cause your steering to steer, because you're putting pressure on the outside of the axle, your hub. So we've got to get that planted as best as we can. This car doesn't have a locking steering wheel. If you have a locking steering wheel, you can jiggle it and lock it as straight as you can get it. That will help. But for me, I don't have very many options, but I can put the tire on the ground, and now I can't turn this by hand, and I can put a lot more pressure on it than if I had it jacked up and both steer wheels off the ground. Now when you're putting your roller on, use these things that they come with. These will help protect your lug nuts, because if you look at your lug nut, it's an acorn shape, and that fits on your acorn, so it doesn't destroy just the tip of your lug nuts. So use them. Now that we got everything set up, dialed in, we got our heat gun plugged in, ready to go, we just pour some heat to it. Now be very careful, you want to get this hot so the paint will be more malleable and the panel will actually fold. If you don't, you'll crack your paint and it will just be a bear to try to work with. So heat up the edge, particularly the bottom, so that you can start rolling it. You want to heat this edge mostly, and then come out and do a little bit on this side, because the further up you heat, the more it's going to stretch. So right at the end of the heat is where it's going to want to pull out. So the higher up, the more pull out of the body you're going to get. So try to localize it. I'm trying to just fold this lip over. I don't want to pull my fender out anymore. My fender's pretty good. I just need a little bit of clearance for the tire. So we need to get this lip rolled because it's, I mean, that thick, and we want it to be that thick. So put some heat to it. Just slowly work your way around. Don't stay in one spot too long. Keep it hot. You know once it's done, because it will be very warm to the touch, where you can really feel it quickly. Now that heat, this is a thin panel, heat's gonna dissipate really, really quick. So make sure that you're ready, you have all your adjustments on. Start out with your roller at a really shallow angle and slowly work your way around to a sharper angle. And that's it, just slow. Patience is a virtue here, because you rush things, paint's gonna crack. You rush it and things are gonna go wrong. Your panel's gonna pull out more than you want. So this is the time to take your time and make sure it's done right, and then you don't have to go back and try to undo it or try to fix something, or even buy a new panel if it's bugging you that bad. So I've been working on this panel for a while, and I'm getting down to the last step where it's as tight as I can get it, and I just want to barely roll it out. I got some heat in it, and I'm going to go ahead and get a little bit of tension on the fender and then just roll it back and forth, and you can see the fender move, and we just want to roll it back and forth, give it a little heat, and make sure that we fold that tab up nice and tight. So I'm going to be with probably the majority of people with this. I don't want my fender sticking out that far from my tire. The whole point of this is to fill the fender well and make it look better. The smaller the gap makes it look a lot better. So take your time, test fit every once in a while. You get it close, put your tire on, put it down, try it, see if it's going to work for you. If it doesn't, okay, try some more. Go back, you get a little bit closer to your goal, your end goal, and that way you do it how you want it and not go all ham on your first bit, and now you've got a fender that's sticking out an inch away from your tires. It's a pain to put it back to where it was, so take your time, go slow, make sure it's done right, because if it's done right, it's gonna look right, it's gonna be what you want, it's gonna be how it's supposed to be. So take your time. I can't say it enough. Take your time, go through the steps, test fit, rinse and repeat. So here's a comparison of a rolled side and then the non-rolled side. Well, there we go. Now we have just enough clearance for the tire to not rub on the rim, and it doesn't look like it's all flared out. You see a lot of cars where this piece will be just flared out right at the end instead of like all the way up here, nice taper. So it's good to see that it's not flared out a whole bunch, and the lip is really, really small in there now. We did it. That's it. That's gonna do it for me today, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Hopefully you learned something. Remember, biggest thing is patience. Take your time, do it right, trial and error, do it, put the tires on, make sure they don't rub. If they do rub, find out where, do it again, so you're not overextending your fenders, because it's more of a pain to put it back than it is to just do it right the first time. So anyways, I'm gonna get out of here, everyone. You enjoy the rest of your day. I'm gonna go take this thing and enjoy my day. Take it easy, everyone. Peace. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button. We're so close. Peace.